Hello, and welcome to my video. Today, I'm hopefully going to show you guys some secrets on how to learn another language. Now, this doesn't have to just be a spoken language. I've never used it, but I think it could be used for any languages, such as coding and stuff like that. So you take what you can from this and apply it to those types of languages. So let's get started. So first off, why most methods don't work. I know there's a lot of content out there, and why was I inclined to start this video? And there's actually a big reason. I just see there's a very big gap, and that's not going to get filled anytime soon. It's just too profitable to try to teach people other languages, and obviously most of them fail. They have false promises, impossible timelines. Like, seriously, you cannot learn a language in 3 months. You might learn how to say some words or some sentences and understand some things, but there's no way that you're going to learn somebody's complex language that they've spent thousands of years creating in just 3 months. It's just not possible. Now, maybe 3 years, you could get a very good, broad understanding of the language. So, there's much too little content. First off, most of these programs, they have to be programmed, and it actually takes a lot of time and effort and resources to program this stuff and give you this content that you're supposed to learn this language from. There's just it's just too narrow. There's not enough resources to go around for them to actually give you enough content. They rely on your short-term memory and your memorizational skills, which actually is, I know 3 languages. There's not enough diversity in these programs, meaning they're just too canned. It's just too much of one thing. Really, you need quite a bit of diverse content in order to learn a language, and that would cost millions and millions of dollars. So don't look to these programs to learn a language. Use them as tools. There's obviously the different types of learning, which submersion, there's auditory and visual and written. Submersion is probably the fastest and best way to do it, right? You move to a country, you have to be there to survive and mingle with the locals to get what you need, going to supermarkets. Obviously, this method is unavailable for many, many people, so we go on to the next, which is semi-submersion, which is what we could do to submerge ourselves. Rosetta Stone claims to be a fully submersive program, but it's really not. You need to take this into your own power to submerge yourself for a certain amount of time every day. Fully submerge yourself and surround yourself with things and props and words and things of this language all around you for a certain amount of time per day in order to count as submersion. You can't just be sitting in front of a computer and think that's going to count for complete submersion or even semi-submersion. Auditory, Pimsleur does this really well, except for one key element. It's that content thing I was talking about. They put up audio based on certain situations that they make up, and you have to follow them along, translations and stuff like that, and it's just really abstract, and there's no way for your brain to actually grab a hold of that content and actually consider it anything that it actually needs, because it's just too abstract and mumbled and jumbled. And really, you'd be lucky to hear any of that content out in the real world when you're out using this language you're supposed to be learning, and you won't ever hear things said that way. They'll be said differently, and it just won't register. So this is once again just really lacking. And Pimsleur's a good program, don't get me wrong, if you use it as a tool, not as your sole thing. You have to use it as a tool. Better auditory learning tool would be to go out and actually hear this language in a setting where it's real. going to a coffee shop or bookstore or something where you know that there might be some people that speak that language, and just hear them talk and just listen to it. We'll go into that a little bit further later. Visual. This said to be the secret, the big secret, for all these online schools and programs, but really it's not the key. It's also merely a tool. We need to really put ourselves in these situations where we could see them visually and hear people talking and interacting and mingling, using their body language and stuff like that for it. One of the great places to do that, if you don't have any real places to go, is to watch some movies or soap operas, reality shows, anything of that sort, where you get to see the people in their real state, doing real things, and allow yourself to see that. Now, why don't these companies that are supposed to be teaching people languages have this content? Well, look at how much it costs to make a movie. Look at how much it costs to make a soap opera or any kind of content like that. There's just simply not enough money for these companies to give you this kind of content. So you need to seek it out yourself and put yourself in this situation where you're going to visually see this language played out. Written is a big pitfall. Teach you that the way to learning is by writing and by repetition, and do this over and over. But the truth is, it actually can hinder you really, really bad, because think about it. Does a 3-year-old really know how to write all those words he knows how to say? Like, I just had a conversation with my son, and so no, you don't need to write it. You don't need to sit there and write definitions over and over and over. This is just ridiculous. This is not going to work. This is not how languages are learned, and it's a pity that our school systems teach a lot of subjects this way. It's a pitfall, and no amount of countless writing is going to help you learn this language, I'm sorry to say. You're here for a big secret, right? All this stuff you might have already known. Well, here's the big secret. You don't learn it by being disconnected from the world you're trying to reach in the first place. What you need to do is hear it in the reality setting being spoken. And trust me about this. Watch the movies in that language. Go have some coffee with some person that speaks that language. Have them only speak that. Don't worry about understanding what he's saying. Don't worry about understanding any of the words you say. If you can start to remember the words. Now here's the big secret. If you could start to remember the words, then you can attach meanings to them later, and your brain will accept them. It won't be something abstract. You'll already know the word, and then you just simply need to attach a meaning to it. And this is how most children learn. Soon you'll start to remember dozens of words every day, and you can define them accordingly. You don't need to do it before. It's really a waste of your time to try to place word definition. It's better to do word situation, word picture, and then later you can tie it all together in your head. There'll be times when you'll define a word in your head and not even have to actually go and look for the definition. It's quite amazing. Use your words that you learn frequently. Try to replace any words that you can in your vocabulary, just for fun or whatever. Talking about getting some coffee, voy a agarrar café, dame esa servilleta, instead of saying, give me that napkin, that kind of stuff. Or say it once in the language you're trying to learn, and then say it in your language if you're speaking to somebody. Another big secret is to actually mimic you saying these words that you're hearing in the real life settings. So you're out there in the world, you're hearing these words. If you don't want to say them out loud, you don't have to at the time. Just pretend like you're saying them. Just pretend in your head that you're moving your lips and your tongue and everything, how you would have to move it to say that word. do this frequently and then start to say these words out loud. And honestly, the louder you project them, the more it will help you remember them. So you can watch TV, go to coffee shops, hangout spots where that language is being spoken. Put yourself in these situations. And honestly, learning another language is being outside of our comfort zone. So you have to try to put yourself in a very, very awkward situation where you have to speak that language, where you have to say things wrong, and you learn that way. You can't be in your home or in your little box thinking that you're going to learn a language. It's just not going to happen. You have to put yourself out there, and you put yourself out on a limb. Listen to radio talk shows and anything audio that you could get your hands on before going to bed. So that's another secret. Watch TV, listen to audio before going to bed, even play it while you're asleep, because your subconscious mind will pick up a lot of stuff, and it will help you just hear the words, just hear the pronunciation and the different ways things are said. Anyways, so yeah, I hope this helped you, and I'll be putting up some more videos to try to hone in on some of this stuff we talked about. Thanks.